What's up everyone, it's Caddy with MoneyVest. So in this video, we are going to be talking about Tesla. Tesla here dropping a little bit over 3% on the day, back down to $265. They hit a new milestone. There are some updates from BYD and the partnership and the optimization for the brand awareness and how they are lowering prices, which obviously is affecting and putting pressure on not only Chinese EV makers, but also Tesla. And we are also going to talk a little bit about the Goldman Sachs downgrade. In other words, not really a downgrade, but talking or citing concerns over price cuts from a Tesla as well, and the fake news reported by a lot of different media platforms suggesting that Tesla is in early talks to build a factory in Saudi Arabia as well. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, find it helpful. Make sure that you drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Link to our Discord and Patreon is going to be down below if you're interested in joining, and of course getting access to all the buy and sell alerts, options alerts, trade ideas. Everything is going to be included, as well as the intrinsic value spreadsheets. There is a 16% annual discount that's available till the end of this month, so you can take advantage of that as well with the links down below. So this right here was reported again 14 hours ago that Tesla or Elon Musk is in early talks with Saudi Arabia to build an electric vehicle factory. Honestly, this did get me a little bit more excited for Saudi Arabia because of the Middle East, where it's located. And I do believe that over the next 10 years, Saudi Arabia has a lot of potential. I actually mentioned this in my life update video that Riyadh, Qatar, with the natural gas, with the amount of oil, and of course, not to mention the UAE, they definitely have a lot of potential over the next, 5 to 10 years as they continue to invest significantly in infrastructure, in energy production, and of course, inviting a lot of businesses, entrepreneurs, and investments into this region, right? The Middle East region. But of course, this is fake news. Elon Musk already did mention that Wall Street Journal reported, which was utter false news, and it's not indeed correct. But bottom line is that I would not be surprised if there is a potential factory here in the Middle East in the next couple years or few years, right? Because the Middle East obviously is a big region. Right now, there's no taxes here, so that's good. So there's obviously a lot of the cars that are coming in are imported from other parts of the world, and there's not really, as far as I'm aware, there's not really any excise duty tax that you pay on the import of the vehicles. I have to double check, but there will be, in my opinion, some potential opportunity in the future, even though this is false, but there might be a potential opportunity in the future to build something in the Middle East as well. Of course, they're doing that in India now, which obviously is lowered down the excise duty tax from 100% down to 15%. So this right here is actually the milestone. So Tesla announces that it's produced over 5 million electric cars, which again is a huge milestone. Tesla produces 5 millionth EV. Takes us 6 months for the last million. So in 6 months, they have now produced over 1 million vehicles to go from 4 to 5 million. And that again is a huge milestone. And the goal for Tesla obviously eventually is to get up to over 20 million vehicles in the long term when it comes to on a yearly basis. Now, China's BYD rides on partnerships to expand electric vehicle sales in Southeast Asia. So along with attractive prices, BYD's early success is based on a pattern of distribution partners with large local conglomerates that have allowed the car maker to expand reach, test consumer preferences, and navigate complex government regulations in the region, officials from 3 partners analysts said. And they also mentioned that at present, BYD's primary focus is on brand proliferation rather than optimizing profit margins. And if Tesla does that, that's somehow a negative catalyst, right? If Tesla starts to lower prices and not optimize profit margins, that obviously ends up being a negative catalyst. But that being said, BYD is the only company that I do really see as a very, very strong competitor to Tesla, especially in the Southeast region, because they do definitely have a lot of market share. And I think they have gained more than a quarter of its share electric vehicles sold in that region. That, of course, is shooting past rivals, including Tesla. So obviously, BYD, as I mentioned, is the only competitor worth, in my opinion, in my eyes, like for Tesla in that region, which is obviously selling a lot of vehicles, but at the same time getting a lot of market share. But over the long term, we'll find out how profitable BYD ends up being, considering that Tesla, even though they're selling at higher prices, of course, has higher margins and higher profitability at the moment. And Tesla price cuts to hinder Tesla's earnings is what Goldman Sachs also mentioned. That he said, the analyst basically quoted, and I said, we believe that Tesla could further lower prices in 2024 to support higher volumes, which we believe will mitigate the EPS benefit from cost reductions. Goldman Sachs' Mark Delaney forecasts that Tesla will report earnings of $290 to $415 per share for the remainder of 2023 and into 2024, down from $3 and $4.25 respectively. And he wrote that the downgrade is due to Tesla's aim for higher production. So it actually did come in as a downgrade after citing concerns over the profit margins, and he believed that a higher production would hit gross margins before accounting for state incentives and tax credits from the Inflation Reduction Act. So that could be one of the reasons why Tesla stock was down a little bit over 3%. Now, I did a video on going over Magnificent 7 stocks and kind of ranking them from undervalued to overvalued. And Tesla, I did put up as grossly overvalued right now because 265, $850 billion market cap definitely does put us at a very, very high price earnings multiple or price sales multiple. Those are very expensive right now. And for those reasons, I did put it up there. Now, I did get a few comments in that video talking about Tesla as being a tech company, right? And how I'm not seeing that as a tech company. Let me ask you this right now. Where is Tesla's revenue coming from? Where is Tesla, majority of the revenue, over 90% of the revenues is coming from right now? Okay. It's electric vehicles, right? Do you see Amazon as an e-commerce company or as a tech company? Yes, now in its maturity after 20 years of being in the business, now I can see Amazon as an advertising and an AWS company, right? Because that's where the profitability is, that's where the growth is. But more importantly, if you take a look at the revenue mix, where the revenue is coming from, e-commerce now makes up less percentage of revenue as it did 20 years ago. 20 years ago, it was only e-commerce, right? It was only 90% of it was e-commerce. And then over time, AWS and advertising took over because they were mature businesses, because they were able to execute on those businesses. Now I see Amazon as a tech company. But 20 years ago, it was not. In my opinion, it wasn't, right? It was mostly an e-commerce company. Same thing with Apple, right? Apple, do you see it as a hardware iPhone company or do you see it as a services tech company? Now you can say that yes, it is a services, it is a tech company, it is a technology company at the end of the day because it's making smartphones. But like I said, 10 years ago, right? If you go back to the first iPhone, there were no services. There was no app store, right? It was mostly hardware, mostly iPhones, right? But it took time to build that level of scale and size to get to a technology company. Not saying that Tesla won't be able to do that. Tesla, if anything, Tesla has the potential to become that. But is it there yet? No, right? It's not there yet. There's no technology, there's no service aspect to the overall revenue. It's mostly electric vehicles. Now, the moment Tesla is able to generate substantial amounts of revenue, right, through technology, through artificial intelligence, through FSD, through software services, network services, whatever it is that they're doing with supercomputing, then yes, we can start to kind of validate that case that, okay, Tesla is indeed a technology company and it can start trading at multiples that are deserving of a technology company. But until then, we have to be understanding that it can be successful or it can also fail. There's both probabilities, right? I mean, they can execute and they cannot execute. Right? Just because Tesla has Elon Musk doesn't mean that they're going to be successful, right? That is a very, very big confirmation bias that you're only looking at, let's say, Elon Musk. And look, Tesla's my biggest position. 30% of the portfolio is in Tesla right now. And I believe that it's going to be very successful long term. Why else would I be investing in a company that I believe right now is overvalued if I did not believe that Tesla is going to be successful long term? But we have to be understanding of the idea, not the fact, but an idea that Tesla indeed could fail. There is a possibility that that Elon Musk doesn't come through and doesn't execute. I'm not saying that's going to happen. It's a very low probability, but it is a possibility, right? And right now, from what I'm looking at, electric vehicles make a majority of the sales. Tesla has the potential, but it hasn't tapped into that yet. Just like Amazon and Apple were, let's say 20 years ago, 10 years ago, that's where Tesla is right now. Will it execute? Will it perform well? It's still yet to be seen, right? Can they solve autonomy? Still yet to be seen. Can they bring out the dojo, the supercomputer, and monetize it the way that we are expecting it to? Still yet to be seen, right? Can they use artificial intelligence in a way that generates a lot of software-like revenue and margins? Still yet to be seen, right? All that is still yet to be executed. And that was the whole idea behind that analysis in that video that I did. Anyway, going over to Tesla's analysis on technicals. So this right here is going to be the chart, which, right now we're getting rejected at a very, very strong area of resistance. That's going to be sitting roughly at around in the 290s, 300s, 310s. And even more specifically and more precisely, you'll notice that we are getting rejected at 277. So we got rejected on Friday. So this right here is the level. and of course sold right back down today. And support level right now is going to stay put at 260, right? So 260, 261, this right here is going to be that level to watch. Right now we're taking kind of staircases up. So, you know, we kind of rallied higher, we consolidated sideways, we broke out, then we consolidated sideways, then we broke out, then we consolidated sideways. So what you're seeing is like a staircase type pattern where it goes up, consolidates, goes up, consolidates, goes up, consolidates. And right now, once again, we're coming down to that support at 260. So if that level continues to get validated here, previous resistance acting as a support, then there is a possibility that we do see some rejuvenation in the price action. Of course, start to see some reacceleration back higher. Of course, FOMC is going to be a very, very important catalyst for this week. But if you do end up breaking down, it's possible that 240 all the way down to $220 are going to be some next support levels to watch for Tesla. So let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think about Tesla here? Are you buying, selling, holding? For me, I do have some covered calls. I do have, of course, a lot of shares. We'll be looking at selling puts and buy sub 200. So if it does end up, you know, dropping down below $200 per share in the weeks to come, I would be very much interested in, once again, dollar cost averaging and selling some puts. But of course, if it does end up pushing higher, then we'll be looking at, once again, selling some calls and taking some shares off the table and locking in some profits. But still believe long term. Again, I believe in Elon Musk. I believe in Tesla. I believe they can achieve autonomy and supercomputing and eventually become a tech company that we're expecting it to be. But don't 100% bank on it, right? There's always a possibility that it doesn't happen. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, find it helpful. Make sure that you drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Link to our Discord, Patreon is going to be down below. As always, happy investing. I'll see you all in the next video.